I hold a small old worn leather diary today. The fragile pages are full of sad, dark words. I sent the diary owner to dark prison yesterday. I hated him for 10 incredibly long, painful years. But this small book completely broke my heart tonight. My name is Stella, and I am a lawyer. Listen to my very sad story about pure love. Let me go back 15 long, painful years today. I lived in a very beautiful, quiet green valley. The tall trees were incredibly green and very strong. The river water was very cold and totally clear. I lived there with a very handsome young boy. His sweet name was Julian. Julian and I grew up together very happily there. We played near the clear blue river every day. We climbed the tall green trees every hot summer. Julian had a very bright, warm, beautiful, happy smile. I loved him with my entire whole young heart. We were young and completely deeply in sweet love. We loved our quiet town very incredibly much today. The local people were very kind and incredibly friendly. They lived a very simple, peaceful, happy daily life. I wanted to protect this beautiful green valley forever. I loved the tall trees and quiet wild animals. Julian wanted to protect my beautiful, bright, happy smile. One night we sat under the dark, wide sky. Many bright white stars shined very clearly above us. Julian held my soft, warm hands very incredibly tightly. He made a very serious, deep promise right then. He promised to protect our quiet, green hometown always. He promised to keep me completely, absolutely safe forever. I smiled and kissed his face very softly then. We thought our happy life would last forever there. Julian wanted to marry me very incredibly soon today. He saved his clean money very carefully every day. He planned a perfect romantic proposal for me soon. I wanted to build a small warm wooden house. I wanted to have many happy small smart children. I studied very hard every single bright sunny day. I wanted to be a smart local school teacher. I wanted to teach young children about nature completely. I read many thick books about beautiful green forests. Julian worked hard at the local town wood factory. Our small quiet town was a hidden peaceful paradise. We did not have big tall gray noisy buildings. We did not have loud dirty fast expensive cars. We only had clean air and bright warm sunshine. It was a perfect safe place for young families. But perfect things do not last very long ever. Our happy dream ended very suddenly one dark morning. We heard a very loud, ugly, scary noise outside. Many big yellow machines came into our green valley. Rich, greedy men wore expensive, dark, clean suits there. They looked at our tall green trees very coldly. They wanted to dig deep into our clean earth. They wanted to find very expensive black, dirty coal. They brought many strong, angry men with big guns. They told the local people to leave their homes. They offered very small, cheap bags of dirty money. I was incredibly angry and very deeply sad today. I stood in front of the big yellow machines. I shouted loudly at the greedy, rich, bad men. I told them to leave our green, quiet valley. My good neighbors stood behind me very bravely then. We started a big loud protest against the company. We wanted to protect our beautiful, quiet, safe hometown. I looked around for my sweet, brave, loved Julian. I wanted him to stand right next to me. But Julian was not there with me at all. He started acting incredibly strangely during those dark days. He did not hold my hands very tightly anymore. He did not look into my sad, dark eyes. He avoided my quiet house every single lonely night. I felt a very cold, sharp pain inside me. I thought he was just very scared of them. I thought we would fight the greedy monsters together. I did not know his terrible dark secret plan. I did not know his cruel mind was changing. My pure sweet love was hiding a massive secret. The rich men laughed at our loud small protests. They said they would destroy our town very soon. I needed Julian to help me lead the people, but he disappeared when I needed him the most. The next terrible day broke my heart completely forever. I went to a small wooden house one evening. The small house was entirely dark and quiet. I knocked on the heavy door very incredibly loudly. Julian opened the wooden door very slowly and quietly. He looked incredibly tired and very deeply sad today. I asked him why he abandoned our brave fight. I asked him to join my loud, strong protest. He looked away and did not answer my questions. He told me to go home and stay safe. He closed the heavy door right in my face. I stood in the cold, dark night all alone. I felt incredibly confused and very deeply, completely lost. The man I loved was acting like a stranger. I walked back to my small house very slowly. I cried silent, hot tears in my dark bed. The biggest loud protest happened the very next morning. Almost all the local town people gathered together there. We stood strongly against the big yellow noisy machines. We blocked the wide dirt road with our bodies. We shouted loud angry words at the greedy men. Then a large expensive black car arrived very slowly. The big rich company boss stepped out very proudly. He wore a very expensive, shiny dark gray suit. He smiled a very cruel, greedy, dark, evil smile. Then another young man stepped out of the car. My heart completely, totally stopped beating for a second. It was my sweet, pure, true love named Julian. But he looked completely, incredibly, entirely different right now. He wore a very expensive, clean, new black suit. His hair was styled very neatly and incredibly perfectly. He stood right next to the cruel, greedy boss. He did not look at my sad, confused face. He looked at the angry local crowd very coldly. The rich boss spoke into a loud, big microphone. He said he had a new, smart local manager. The boss pointed his dirty finger right at Julian. He said Julian sold his small land to them. He said Julian was a smart rich man now. My entire small beautiful world crashed into tiny pieces. I could not believe my own two sad eyes. Julian took the loud microphone from the greedy boss. His voice sounded incredibly cold and very totally cruel. He looked directly into my sad, crying brown eyes. He said our loud, brave protests were completely stupid. He called us weak, foolish, blind, local small people. He said the Green Valley was completely, totally useless. He said money was the only important thing always. He told everyone to take the cheap, dirty money. He told us to leave the valley very quickly. He said he did not care about the trees. I felt a massive, sharp, terrible pain inside me. This was the boy who promised to protect me. This was the boy who loved the green trees. He sold his pure soul for dirty, cheap money. He became a greedy, dark, cruel monster right there. I screamed his name with massive, deep, dark anger. I asked him how he could betray our home. He looked at me with completely empty, cold eyes. He laughed a very cruel, dark, loud, bad laugh. He told me to grow up and be smart. He turned his back and walked to the car. He left me standing in the dirty, cold dust. My pure, beautiful, true love died right there completely. A massive, dark, heavy hate started inside my heart. I will never ever forgive his cruel, dark betrayal. Julian became a very ruthless, cruel, powerful, bad manager. He used his new power to hurt our town. He signed dirty legal papers to take our lands. He sent angry strong guards to scare local families. Many poor people cried and packed their small bags. He came to my small warm wooden house soon. He brought 2 very large strong angry security guards. He threw some dirty legal papers on my table. He said my family must leave the valley immediately. He said our quiet house belonged to the company. I looked at his expensive suit and cold eyes. I slapped his face incredibly very hard and fast. My hand hurt, but my broken heart hurt more. He did not move or touch his red face. He just told his guards to throw us out. It was a very cold, dark, heavy, rainy night. My poor parents packed our old clothes very quickly. We walked out of our beautiful warm wooden house. The heavy cold rain washed my hot falling tears. I looked back at the tall green forest trees. Julian stood on my small porch in the rain. He watched us walk away into the dark night. I felt pure, massive, absolute dark hate for him. I promised to come back and destroy him completely. We moved to a very small, dirty, crowded city. Our good valley people lived in tiny, dirty rooms. The strong farmers became very tired, sick factory workers. They breathed dirty gray smoke every single long day. They missed our beautiful green valley very incredibly much. Many old village people died from deep, sad heartbreak. My father coughed very loudly every cold, dark night. My mother washed dirty clothes for rich city people. We did not have any fresh green vegetables now. We ate very cheap, bad food every single day. I saw my strong parents become incredibly very weak. We worked like quiet machines for dirty, cheap money. Our hands were always very dirty and incredibly rough. We did not see the bright yellow sun often. The tall gray buildings blocked all the natural light. Everyone felt like a completely dead, sad, empty ghost. This dark, ugly city was a terrible, cold prison. Life in the big city was incredibly very hard. My parents worked very long, tiring, hard, quiet hours. I felt completely, deeply hopeless and incredibly very sad. I hated my weak, helpless, young, broken life then. Then a very strange, wonderful miracle happened one morning. A very thick, heavy white envelope arrived for me. I opened it with slightly shaking, cold, small hands. It contained a massive, full university, bright, smart scholarship. It was a very huge amount of clean money. There was a short typed letter inside the envelope. It said the money was from an anonymous friend. The letter told me to study incredibly very hard. It told me to become a very strong lawyer. It told me to fight for true, pure justice. I did not know the secret, kind, generous sender. But this clean money changed my entire dark life. I wiped my sad, hot, wet tears away completely. I felt a massive, strong, hot fire inside me. I will use this money to become very powerful. I will become a very smart, brave young lawyer. I will return to my beautiful green, quiet valley. I will completely destroy the bad, greedy mining company. I will crush Julian into tiny little broken pieces. My long, dark, painful journey officially started right today. 10 very long, lonely, painful years passed very slowly. I studied incredibly hard every single quiet, dark night. I read many thick, heavy, difficult old law books. I did not go to fun, bright, loud parties. I did not have any sweet, romantic young boyfriends. I only had one massive, dark, heavy goal inside. I wanted pure, sweet justice for my green valley. I graduated from the big university with top honors. I became a very brilliant, brave, smart environmental lawyer. I worked at a very famous, powerful law firm. I won many big, difficult, complex environmental law cases. I saved many green forests and clean blue rivers. People called me the brave, fearless, smart green hero. I earned a lot of clean, honest, good money. I bought a nice, warm, comfortable house for parents. But my heart was still incredibly cold and broken. I never forgot my beautiful, quiet, lost green hometown. I never forgot the cruel, bad, greedy mining company. And I absolutely never forgot the evil monster Julian. I followed his dark career very closely every year. Julian was the top general manager of the company. He was incredibly rich and very completely, totally powerful. He wore very expensive shiny watches and dark suits. The greedy company destroyed my entire beautiful green valley. They cut down all the tall, beautiful green trees. They made the clean blue river very dirty now. Everyone in the valley hated Julian very deeply today. People called him the greedy bad dog of capitalism. He lived alone in a massive, cold, dark mansion. He was the most hated man on this earth. I looked at his picture on my computer screen. His face was much older and very incredibly cold. His dark eyes looked completely empty and very dead. I felt a massive burning hot fire of hate. The perfect time for my sweet revenge was here. I spent many quiet months preparing my big case. I gathered many secret, hidden, dirty, bad company documents. I found completely undeniable proof of their illegal actions. They poisoned the local earth and the clean water. They broke many serious, strict environmental government local laws. I drafted a massive, strong, heavy legal lawsuit document. I sued the greedy mining company for millions today. I sued Julian personally for his cruel illegal actions. I wanted to put him in a dark prison. I wanted to see him lose absolutely, completely everything. I packed my bags and left the big city. I drove my car back to the ruined valley. My heart beat incredibly fast in my tight chest. The brave, fearless lawyer was finally coming back home. The big final epic legal war will begin tomorrow. I arrived at the old quiet green valley again. The valley was completely, totally destroyed right now. The tall green trees were completely, totally gone. The clear blue river was very dirty and black. The greedy mining company ruined absolutely everything here. I walked into the big local town courthouse. I wore a very sharp, clean black smart suit. I held a very heavy, thick brown legal briefcase. My heart beat incredibly fast in my tight chest. I was ready to destroy the greedy bad monsters. I saw Julian in the large, cold, bright hallway. He wore a very expensive dark gray clean suit. 10 long years changed his cold face very much. He looked incredibly tired and very deeply, completely old. His dark eyes were totally empty and very cold. He looked at me with a very arrogant smile. He walked toward me very slowly and incredibly proudly. He said I looked very successful and very smart. He asked why I came back to the valley. I did not smile at his cold, arrogant face. I told him I came to destroy his life. I said I will put him in dark prison. Julian laughed a very loud, cold, cruel, bad laugh. He said I was just a silly little girl. He said his big company had very powerful lawyers. He told me to go back to the city. I stepped very close to his cold, arrogant face. I told him I was not scared of him. I gave him the thick, heavy legal lawsuit papers. I said I will see him in court tomorrow. He looked at the papers very carefully and quietly. His arrogant, cruel smile completely, totally disappeared right then. He looked incredibly shocked and very deeply totally surprised. I turned my back and walked away very proudly. My massive epic legal war officially started right today. The big legal trial started the very next morning. The courtroom was completely totally full of angry people. Local valley people came to watch the big fight. They hated Julian and the greedy bad mining company. I stood up and spoke very clearly and loudly. I showed the judge many dirty secret company documents. I proved the company poisoned the local clean water. I proved they broke many strict, serious government laws. The rich company lawyers looked incredibly angry and worried. They tried to stop my strong, clear legal arguments. But Julian acted incredibly strangely during the long trial. He was the smart, powerful top company general manager. But he made very many incredibly stupid, foolish mistakes. He answered my hard questions very badly and weakly. He did not defend his greedy company very well. I asked him about a very secret dirty document. The rich company lawyers told him to stay quiet. But Julian spoke very loudly into the court microphone. He admitted the company hid the dirty secret document. He gave me the absolute perfect, clear, strong proof. The rich lawyers shouted very angrily at Julian today. They told the smart judge to stop the trial. But Julian kept talking very calmly and incredibly clearly. He confessed to many terrible, bad, illegal company crimes. He practically gave the entire big case to me. I felt incredibly confused and very deeply totally shocked. Why was this smart, greedy monster helping me win? Why did he make such stupid, foolish legal mistakes? He looked at me with very calm, quiet eyes. He did not look angry or scared at all. The long trial lasted for 2 very tiring weeks. Julian destroyed his own greedy company every single day. I used his crazy mistakes to build my case. I knew I was going to win very soon. But my smart brain was completely full of questions. The smart judge finally made his big final decision. The courtroom was incredibly quiet and very completely still. The judge hit his wooden hammer very loudly today. He said the greedy mining company was totally guilty. He ordered them to pay massive, huge, heavy fines. He said the dirty company must leave the valley. The local people cheered incredibly loudly and very happily. We won the massive, epic, long, difficult legal war. The evil, greedy, dark monster was finally completely dead. I felt a huge, heavy weight leave my shoulders. The judge looked at Julian very coldly and sternly. He said Julian committed many terrible, serious, bad crimes. He ordered the police officers to arrest Julian immediately. 2 tall, strong police officers walked toward Julian quickly. They put cold, heavy metal handcuffs on his wrists. The local people shouted angry, bad words at him. But Julian did not look sad or angry today. He looked incredibly peaceful and very deeply, totally calm. He walked past my wooden table very incredibly slowly. He stopped and looked deeply into my brown eyes. He smiled a very warm, beautiful, soft, happy smile. It was the same sweet smile from our childhood. He looked like my pure, sweet, young, innocent boy. He did not look like a greedy, cruel monster. He said he was incredibly very proud of me. He said I became a very brilliant, brave lawyer. He said I saved our beautiful, green, quiet hometown. Then the police officers took him away very quickly. He walked out of the big wooden court doors. I stood there feeling completely, totally confused and lost. I just won the biggest legal case ever today. I destroyed the man who ruined my happy life. I should feel incredibly happy and very completely satisfied. But his warm, beautiful smile broke my heart again. Something was incredibly wrong about this entire big victory. 3 very quiet, strange days passed after the trial. I stayed in a small local town hotel room. I felt very empty and incredibly deeply totally sad. Someone knocked on my wooden door very softly today. It was a very old, tired, quiet, smart lawyer. He said he was Julian's personal secret lawyer today. He gave me a very heavy, thick brown box. He said Julian wanted me to have this box. The old lawyer looked at me very incredibly sadly. He said I was completely wrong about poor Julian. He left the hotel room very quickly and quietly. I opened the heavy brown box very incredibly slowly. I found a massive thick pile of secret documents. They were all the hidden dirty mining company records. Julian collected this dangerous proof for 10 long years. I found bank papers for my expensive university scholarship. Julian used all his dirty money to pay it. He paid for my entire expensive, bright, smart education. I found a small old worn leather diary inside. I opened the fragile pages with shaking cold hands. I read Julian's quiet, sad, dark, painful secret words. He knew the company wanted to kill me then. He made a deal with the cruel, greedy boss. He became the bad guy to save my life. He broke my heart to push me away safely. He worked in the dark hell for 10 years. He gathered all the dirty proof for my victory. He deliberately lost the big court case for me. He sacrificed his own entire life for my dream. He went to dark prison to set me free. I dropped the old diary on the cold floor. I fell down on my weak, tired, shaking knees. I cried incredibly loud, hot, painful, massive, wet tears. I destroyed the greatest, pure, true love ever today. My sweet, brave Julian was a completely true hero. I ran to the large, dark, cold city prison. My heart beat incredibly fast in my tight chest. I held his small old diary very tightly today. I needed to see my sweet, brave Julian immediately. I needed to tell him my true, deep feelings. The prison guard opened a heavy, dark metal door. Julian sat behind a thick, clear, cold glass wall. He wore a very bright, ugly orange prison uniform. He looked incredibly surprised to see my crying face. He picked up the black plastic prison phone slowly. I picked up my black phone very quickly too. I cried massive, hot, wet tears down my face. I told him I read his secret old diary. I told him I knew his entire dark secret. I asked him why he ruined his own life. Julian smiled his incredibly beautiful, warm, sweet, happy smile. He said my bright, beautiful life was more important. He said he promised to protect me always. He said he kept his deep, serious childhood promise. He said he loved me completely, truly, and forever. I put my small hand on the cold glass. Julian put his large, warm hand right over mine. I told him I was incredibly, deeply, totally sorry. I said I was a very foolish, blind lawyer. I asked him to forgive my dark, angry hate. He said he never blamed me a single time. He said he wanted me to hate him deeply. He said hate made me very strong and brave. He said my anger saved our beautiful Green Valley. He wiped a small tear from his dark eye. I made a very serious, deep promise right then. I promised to be a smart, brave, strong lawyer. I will fight the corrupt legal system for him. I will win his pure, total, absolute, clean freedom. I will bring him back to our green hometown. We will rebuild our small, quiet, wooden houses together. We will plant many new tall, green, strong trees. We will clean the dirty black river water completely. We will bring bright, happy sunshine back home again. Julian smiled and nodded his head very slowly today. I walked out of the dark, cold, gray prison. The bright yellow sun shined very warmly on me. The dark, angry, heavy storm was completely, totally gone. I found my sweet, true, pure, innocent love again. My new, bright, beautiful, happy future officially starts today.